On October 14th of this year, you went on CNN. I want to read you what you said.
Kennedy exposes a woke general who trashes Trump and smears millions of Americans, then suddenly can't remember and isn't here to discuss it when pressed. Watch this carefully, because this is exactly how the elite dodge accountability when they get caught.
General,
Yes,
you
sir.
believe in open borders, don't you?
I believe in the rule of law, sir.
Right. And it makes you angry that President Trump does not believe in open borders, doesn't it?
Senator, I'm not here to discuss immigration policy. I'm here to discuss whether or not we use the military to enforce it.
And it makes you angry that most Americans don't believe in open borders, doesn't it?
Not in the slightest, sir. Again, I am not here to discuss the immigration policy.
Yeah. Duty, honor, respect, you talked about that
Yes,
in
Senator.
your opening statement. On October 14th of this year, you went on CNN. I want to read you what you said, make sure I'm accurate. Here's what you said. President Trump is not like any sane leader. I'm very proud of General Milley for saying that President Trump is a total fascist. To Bob Woodward, if he, as chairman of the Joint Chiefs, is calling the president a fascist, I'm so proud of him for breaking that barrier. The challenge is because most MAGA Republicans, they don't understand what fascism is. The reality is that they are, in fact, fascists themselves. Did I read that accurately?
Senator, I am happy to discuss my personal perspectives with you separately at any time. That's not the purpose of the hearing today.
Did I read that accurately?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. You think you're smarter than the American people, don't you?
Absolutely not, Senator. I am here to discuss the use of the military as part of this mass deportation.
You think you're more virtuous than the American people, don't you, General?
Senator, I am insulted by your comment.
Duty, honor, and respect. You talked about that in your opening statement, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Moran said, I wrote down her words. She said, by their actions, you know what someone's character is like. You agree with that?
Senator, for 35 years, I served my country with absolute honor and distinction, and I will continue to do so.
You agree with what Ms. Moran said?
Of course.
Mr. We've got a few minutes left.
23 seconds.
Well, actually, you let Ms. Klobuchar go well over, so I'm assuming you'll extend me the
I'll
same.
give you the same minute I gave to her.
You gave it a minute 20. I timed it.
You're
I watched you
using
like a hawk, Dick. Mr. Melnick, Mr. Reichlin Melnick, you believe in open borders too, don't you?
I do not, Mr. Kennedy.
Okay. On November 1st, 2022, you tweeted, both Texas and Louisiana have their knives out for black immigrants. Do you remember that tweet?
I don't, but it's quite possible.
What Texans, it's not only possible, it happened. You're not denying it, are you?
No, I'm saying, referring
What
to the
Texans?
context.
Who
I
are you
actually
talking
don't
to?
know the
Who
context.
are you talking to about who in Texas had their knives out for black immigrants?
guessing the context, but my suspicion is
Give
that
me
it
a
has to
name.
do the
Give me a
Attorney
name.
General Ken Paxton and
Give
the
me a
Attorney
name.
General of
Give me a
Louisiana.
name. You
I just
don't-
did.
You don't have a name, do you?
I just said Ken Paxton.
You don't have a name, do you? You just said it, didn't you?
Just said Ken Paxton.
All right, how about Louisiana? You said Louisiana has its knives out for black immigrants. Who in Louisiana were you talking about?
Again, I'm not certain. That was 2 years ago, and as I'm sure you know, much has happened in the last 2 years.
Well, did you say it?
Again, I do not remember the context,
But you don't,
Senator
you
Kennedy.
said somebody had their knives out from Louisiana for black immigrants, but you don't know who they were? You just said it?
I said the Attorney General of Louisiana and Texas, and I believe this referred to specifically lawsuits brought and arguments that were made in court that the arrival of Haitians
I'm out
and
of time,
others
but I
were
want to get you
inherently
on the
dangerous,
record.
which was
You
not.
Thank you very much, Senator.
believe
Appreciate
that the
your
Attorney
questions.
General at that time of Louisiana had his knives out for black immigrants. That's your testimony.
Given their
Thank you, Senator
litigation
Kennedy.
conduct, yes.
Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
When you watch that exchange, you could already feel it. That wasn't just a tense hearing moment, that was a perfect snapshot of something much bigger happening in this country right now. John Kennedy came in with a very simple approach: ask direct questions, get direct answers. And what did he get in return? Evasion, deflection, and that now familiar line, "That's not what I'm here to discuss." But here's the problem: it is exactly what should be discussed. You've got a high-ranking military figure who went on national television and openly praised calling Donald Trump a fascist. Not just criticizing policies, that's normal, but labeling not just Trump but most MAGA Republicans as fascists. That's not a policy disagreement, that's a worldview. And when Kennedy reads those words back, what happens? No denial, no clarification, just, "I'll discuss that separately." Why separately? If you're bold enough to say it publicly on a network like CNN, why suddenly go quiet under oath in front of the American people? That's the disconnect people are noticing. Because this isn't just about one general, it's about a broader attitude that's been creeping into institutions that are supposed to stay neutral, especially the military. When you start hearing language like half the country are fascists, that's not unity, that's contempt. And Kennedy zeroed in on that. When he asked, "Do you think you're smarter than the American people?" that wasn't random. That was getting at something deeper, this growing sense that there's a class of officials, experts, and insiders who believe they sit above the people they serve. And you could hear the discomfort immediately. Same thing when he pressed on virtue. Because once you start labeling your political opponents as morally corrupt or dangerous, you're no longer debating, you're positioning yourself as morally superior. That's a dangerous road. History has shown that over and over again. Then the conversation shifts and you see the exact same pattern again with the tweet about Texas and Louisiana. Strong accusation, knives out for black immigrants. That's serious, that's inflammatory. But when asked for specifics, "I don't remember, I'm not sure, it was 2 years ago." That's not a small claim. That's accusing entire states, or at least their leadership, of targeting people based on race and immigration status. And yet when pressed to back it up, nothing solid. This is what frustrates a lot of Americans. It's not just what's being said, it's the lack of accountability after it's said. There's a pattern here: say something bold, get praise in friendly media circles, but when challenged directly, especially in a formal setting, suddenly it's out of scope. And people are starting to see through that. Now step back and look at the bigger picture. This hearing is happening at a time when immigration, border enforcement, and the role of the military are front and center in national debate. The question isn't just policy, it's trust. Can institutions like the military remain apolitical? Because once Americans feel like even the military leadership is taking sides politically, that's when confidence starts to erode. And that's not a partisan issue, that affects everyone. Kennedy's style might come off as blunt, even sharp, but that's kind of the point. He's forcing clarity in a space where people often hide behind carefully crafted language. And in this case, the contrast couldn't have been clearer: direct questions versus indirect answers. That's why moments like this resonate. They cut through the noise. They show people in real time how officials respond when they're not in a friendly interview, when they don't control the setting, when they have to answer right there, on the spot. And whether you agree with Kennedy or not, one thing is hard to ignore: he didn't let those statements just slide. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think figures in the military and government are getting too political? Or do you think this is just normal debate being blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more breakdowns like this, real clips, real context, no fluff, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and stick around.